A lot of these guys still look fresh as a daisy.
Yeah, the guys on the front going to be doing the most amount of work as, well, they're out in the wind. They have no one to draft off of, no one to hide behind. It's just them, the bike, in the wind. It's relatively easy here with a tailwind, but still incredibly tough to pull a group along, Jamie.
Well, the tailwind here, but somewhere around this course, it's a headwind and it's uphill. This is not exactly the flattest grid course in the world. So you can see as you look, as Jamie was talking about, looking into the eyes of these riders, you can feel the tempo is ratcheted up as we are down to 58 laps to go, 80 total kilometers for the Stars and Stripes National Championship on the line.
And heads up in the pit, you got a rear tire that's going a little soft for the Gemis rider, number 13, Eric Schlidge.
Yeah, Slidge getting a rear wheel change here as the Shimano neutral support mechanics take that wheel out. They put the new cassette on, getting that back onto the bike. And in 3, 2, 1, Slidge is back and ready to go. So it's just that easy. Change the wheel out. He'll go back into the group.
And again, only for an approved mechanical problem, not for a loose bolt or a misaligned brake lever or anything, or misaligned brake pad or something like that. Look at how bunched up that field is. They're going they're all freewheeling it. Nobody's going too fast. Some riders dangling off the front, just kind of looking around on the pack, just trying to see what's going on. It's going to be hard to get away from this. And Brad, talk about the need for a breakaway, or the desire to establish a breakaway. What drives the speed of this race? What are they trying to do out there?
Well, right now you've got 52 riders out on course. That's 52 guys that you have to sprint against if this comes down to a field sprint. But if you can get a break going, if you can separate and isolate some riders off the front, it's going to be a whole lot easier to guarantee a win in this bike race. These guys would much rather sprint against 5 or 6 other riders than have to deal with the scrum of a field sprint. So ideally, you separate yourself, you take some riders with you, you want guys in that breakaway so that they can each take turns on the front, sharing the workload, but then that teamwork breaks down at the end of the day. You start racing against each other as you're just racing with each other in the breakaway.
Well, for the first time this morning, we just saw Team Type 1 rider flex his muscle. That was Joey Roscoff, who had a little bit of a gap over the field, and now it looks like he has been caught by a couple of Bissell's and a Kelly Benefit rider or two in that group. You know what I think it's time to do? I think it's time to ring the bell, and let's give something else away here. We'll make this a cream lap, and this time around, we're going to be giving them away a Yakima front loader bike carrier. Courtesy of the Village Bike Shop. So we'll be ringing the bell, a value of nearly $200. And create a little bit of a game within a game, a race within the race, as we are underway now with 56 laps to go, coming up about 1/3 of the way into it as we have cleared our clock. So we're about a half an hour in, maybe a little bit more than that. And just as they settle in, preem-lap riders, preem-lap, 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 Yakima rack, preem-lap riders, preem-lap.
They've got kind of a nice, easy pace there. Look at how bunched up they are. And they hear the difference of merchandise preem versus a cash preem, and they have to weigh what the merchandise is, and is it something they're after?
Can I fit it on the plane?
Can I fit it? That's right. Can I get it home?
Is it going to cost me an extra $25?
Is it a desk lamp? Do I need it? But then also, this may be the launch pad for one of those breakaways. As we see, sometimes the rest of the field says, we're not going after it. You guys can go fight it out. 5 or 6 guys fight it out. They find they have a gap in doing so, and next thing you know, you've got a breakaway going. You let them go too far, you give them too much rope. Not the case this time, as the field is still contiguous, coming through those curves on the backside of the course.
One big, long, arcing echelon of riders out there. This point, Brad, they know this course. They're beginning to feel dialed in on these fast corners, the downhill sections. They know where they can take chances, but they need to be maybe a little bit conservative.
And now they're on the home stretch, and see they're almost curb to curb. Not really winding it up yet for the sprint. A long way from the finish line it is. It's compressed on the camera shot. If you're watching online, it's a long way. They're still a good block away, and now here they come. The sprint for the preem is going to go to Kelly Benefits rider number 20.
That's Colton
Barrett.
Well, you saw those riders go all the way to the line. They were just waiting. No one wants to go too early. The easiest way to mess up a sprint is to be the first one to make the move. Ideally, you wait for someone else to go, and then you follow their wheel and sprint to the line. Colton Barrett, very patient. He gets the preem.
I got the preem, and as we saw them go through the turn, I just caught a glance of a Bissell rider. Well, there he is. Yeah, a couple of riders just dangling off the front, making sure that he doesn't get too far away. Well, we got a minute. We got a special guest up here on the stage, Daniel Lee, an author of The Belgian Hammer, selling these books over in the expo area, I noticed, and you're signing them, I'm sure as well. Tell us about this, forging young Americans into professional cycling. Not easy to write a book about cycling, is it?
No, it's not. It's a very difficult sport, and basically I wanted to write a book that kind of outlined what it takes for young Americans to make it in the European pro circuit, all the trials and travails. It's like a 7-year development process, and for many of them, the road starts here at races like this. Many of these guys hope to go over to Europe, get used to the longer races on the narrower roads with kind of Belgian-like conditions like this, windy, gray, maybe rain.
We weren't supposed to mention rain. It might rain. It's the Grand Rapids. It rains here every year. So far, so good. But tell us about, I mean, there's a lot of success stories, but there's a lot of success stories that we never hear about, riders that almost make it and fall short, and that's probably part of the compelling story that you wrote.
That's right. I've got some guys in the book who left the sport last year. One of them is Jackson Stewart, who's now coaching the U.S. national women's team. Another untold story really is today's defending champion, Daniel Holloway. I was with him in Belgium, where he helped Taylor Phinney to a very dramatic victory on a terribly cold day. You know, that was invaluable experience for him to come back to the U.S. and win last year's crit title.
How are book sales?
Pretty good. It's out on Kindle. It's in Barnes & Nobles and Amazon, and please come by the expo area and visit me.
Good deal. Daniel Lee from Indianapolis, Indiana. The Belgian Hammer, the name of his book, and he's selling them in the expo area over yonder. Thanks. Good luck with the book.
Yeah, I can personally endorse the book. Love it. Just got it a few weeks ago. Finished it up just recently. Great read.
I'm not much of a reader or a writer. You know, I'm not into books at all. I'm kidding. I read a lot. I read a lot and I write a lot. So I was just like an inside joke there.
Well, here's the front of your field on the start-finish stretches. They come around the final turn all together. Here, the wind starting to pick up just a bit as we're seeing a reshuffling on the front. We'll watch to see. It looks like Bissell Pro Cycling, red and white. There comes Kelly Benefit Strategies, Optum Health. No surprise there. They have controlled this bike race all day long.
So they are taking a big deep dig out there, putting everything into it. So they are charging around this backside of this course. It was a Kelly Benefit rider. I'm not sure it was. It could have been Jesse Anthony. What a season, Brad, Jesse Anthony has had. Winning in front of Levi Leipheimer, a big stage in the Tour of Utah, the overall GC winners, the Tour Cascade Classic. He told me yesterday he's going to sort of back out of his cyclocross thing, and he's won 7 national championships in. And focus fully on the road next year.
Yeah, the Tour of Utah, Jesse Anthony surprised a lot of folks, getting a stage win there on stage 2 as we are heading into Ogden, actually around Ogden there in Utah. He got into a breakaway with some of the biggest names in the race, including Levi Leipheimer and Yanni Brockovic. Out-sprinted those riders on the line and got to what is the biggest win of his career. He used to be known as the 7-time national cyclocross champion. Now he's known as a Tour of Utah stage winner.
That's a pretty cool Palmair to have on your resume. Very good win, and then he dropped out because of the flu. That's
yeah, highly placed in the GC. He would have been likely on the podium, and he'd been able to keep it together. But he has been absorbed by the field, and now again it is Bissell going to the front. That's rider number 5, Ben-Jacques Main, looking good.
This is really interesting to see how it bunches up, slows down, gets down under 20 miles an hour, and then an attack goes out of nervousness. Anything. They just want to stay at the front and keep the point on the end of the spear. And Ben-Jacques Main was the one that said, no, this is a shuffling of the cards. I'm going to be on the top of the deck, and there he is.
Well, you watch these guys go around, and we all know if you ride bicycles even just a little bit, it's about 25 or 30% more efficient to not be leading the race, to be stuck in the trap of the rider out in front. And that is what about 90% of our field is trying to do right now, trying to hide, try to save their energy, conserve their momentum, and hopefully have a little bit left in the legs for this final big kick to the finish line, which will be coming up in about 50 laps from right now. So an 80-kilometer main event here this morning, being brought to you by Herman Miller in beautiful downtown Grand Rapids. If you're just joining us, I'm Larry Longo with Jamie Smith and Brad Sonner down there in the street. He's getting up close and personal with 53 of the best grit riders in America.
Yeah, they're so evenly matched. That's why we're not seeing anything get away in this race today. Again, there's that long stretch down Main Street on the bricks. Nice dry bricks at this point. Here they come. 51 laps to go, and still pretty much all together. A little gap there in between means nothing as it is quickly absorbed, and there goes the attack. Rider right off the front, getting to the first turn first, and going on the attack. Didn't get to catch the name or the number on the back of his jersey.
Well, it was Dan Bowman, the Kelly Benefits rider, on the front of the field. Not sure who attacked there. Looked like might have been one of the bigger riders, maybe Michael Creed there coming on. But, well, you can set your watch by the attacks of Kelly Benefit Strategies Optum Health, as it seems just lap after lap. They either come to the front, try and get a breakaway going. Jamie, what they're doing right now is just trying to put the hurt on this field. They're trying to wear these guys down. It's like in boxing. You get the little body jabs, just trying to wear them down. That's what Kelly Benefits is doing right now. They're seeing who has the legs to survive and who's going to have the legs come the end of this 80K race.
And it's also those teams that have the numbers, the Bissels that have brought 9 riders to this race. The Kelly Benefits Strategies and Kenda Pro Cycling. Kenda Pro Cycling has the numbers, but they haven't been very active yet, as yet on the front of this race. But yeah, if you've got the numbers, you might as well send out the horses and try to wear everybody else down, knowing that you've got a depth of your team. The Bissell team has some really good players on there. David Williams, Eric Young, Frank Bipp, of course. If it comes down to a sprint, he wants to have his nose at the front. But then there's all those other small teams that only brought 1 or 2 riders that want to do something. Now we see the Team Type 1 going to the front, rider number 48, Ty Magner, on the front of that race. And Team Type 1 comes to the front now.
Yeah, Team Type 1 sort of the underdogs here. You saw them being marked by Kelly Benefit Strategies and Bissell Pro Cycling. No surprise there. Those guys were not trying to get into that breakaway. They're not trying to work the 2 riders behind timing. Now we're just saying, look, we're just going to cover you. We're just keeping an eye on you right now. Those guys aren't meant to be in a breakaway for those teams, but they are meant to cover any attacks that go off the front.
Well, Magner's been joined by a KBS rider and a Bissell rider, so 2 of our powerhouse teams are in this group. We have 3 riders clear at the front, a chase group of about 5, and now the whole field is in the chase. So here they come. We're going to be down to 50 laps left to go this morning on this 1.3-kilometer track.
And just as soon as you said that, the 3-man breakaway became a 1-man breakaway again. It's heartbreaking to be in the breakaway and say, okay, we're in the break, let's go, let's hammer down. And you got 2 guys in there to say, no, we don't want to do it because this isn't the makeup that we want. This isn't who we want in the break. You're like, no, I did everything I can to finally get in the break, and then you get no help from everybody, and then you immediately get reeled in. And that happens time and time again, and that's bike racing.
And if they have taken a break out on the course right now, maybe sat up just a little bit, collectively caught their breaths, it occurred on the backside as here comes your leader. That is rider number 48, Ty Magner, riding for Team Type 1. And now the field rolls through with 49 laps to go. And interestingly enough, and it's not so interesting, that we have not called the name yet of any of our favorite riders. The defending champion, Daniel Holloway, Jake Keogh, how about Frank Bipp? None of the big boys have done anything at the front. They are conserving right now.
Yeah, haven't said their names yet, and nor should we, because that's why they have team members. Those guys are the troops out in the field doing the work on the front. They're working for their team leader. There was a team meeting before the start of this race. All the teams got together. They said, guys, here's our rider for today. Here's who we're setting up. Everyone else has to sacrifice their chances at a national championship to work for their teammate. But Jamie, you know, a teammate is just as important as your star rider. These guys cannot win the national championship today without the support of their teams.
Yeah, it's always good to be able to turn to someone and say, I need you to go chase down that breakaway.
And Brad, how is the dynamic different here this weekend? A lot of these guys have foreign riders on their teams, and they're used to looking around and having a teammate from New Zealand or from Australia or from Germany, and that guy is not in the field today. So some other guys are there to play that role.
Yeah, an all-American field here. These guys working a lot of times with a little different roster than they usually race with, but doing the best that they can. Meanwhile, here comes another attack off the front. Surprise, surprise, Kelly Benefit Strategies Optum Health sends their rider Jason Donald.
And look at that gap established in a hurry. Just a minute ago, the field was all bunched up, freewheeling and just letting him go. And now here comes Bissell back to the front to reel him in. We're getting close to some more preem laps. If he can stay out one more lap, he may be rewarded for it. In the meantime, I want to remind you that Herman Miller works for a better world around you with inventive designs, technologies, and related services that improve the human experience. Wherever people work, heal, learn,